Welcome back to the channel and to my build guide for Shadow, Servant of the Arakaali in Legacy of Phrecia event of Path of Exile 1, my friends. This is going to be a full progressive build, but it's pretty close to the end game. I'm almost level 70. I haven't finished the campaign yet because I'm taking my time. I was experimenting with the build, but you can see the stats on the screen right now, and you can see that I've done the Ascendancy twice. So I've taken the juicy nodes of Servant of the Arakaali. Happy to show you how it plays, the good and the bad. There is quite a bit of bad, but there is insane amount of good, and why you should play and consider having a little bit of fun with this. While I have your attention, please give me a quick like, because otherwise YouTube is not going to show this to more people, and the more of us here the merrier, the more content I'm going to produce for Path of Exile, specifically builds of Legacy of Phrecia. That's it, enough said. The gameplay is all poison based. We are spreading the poisons as quickly as we can, and I am opting into spreading poison using Cobra Lash skill. Cobra Lash hits obviously at a distance. It throws your knives, poisonous knives, which then chain. They are chaining between the enemies, and you can see the shot is very quick. It is spreading really fast. Between the enemies early in the game. You get Cobra Lash as like a second, maybe third skill that you ever get in Act 1, really early on, which is great because a lot of these builds, they are based sometimes on skills that you get much later. Well, here you have to wait to spawn the spiders a little bit later, spoiler alert, but you can start taking advantage of spreading poisons using Cobra Lash really early on. That's your main skill. There are several options of where you can go. You can obviously go towards getting the aspect of the spider. This is something that's going to apply a spider web debuff to the nearby enemies, hindering them and increasing the damage they take. Spoiler alert, this is going to be my third pass through the labyrinth. I'm going to take Thread Spinner. However, I wanted to be the Brood Mother. I wanted to do a lot of Broodguard. I wanted to have as many of those spiders as possible and have fun with that. And trust me, once you get to this point, it does become a lot more fun than at the beginning. So you're going, obviously, skin crawlers first, increasing the poisoning chances for your minions, as well as giving them a chance to inflict withered on hit. You will not have that many minions at first. So yes, technically speaking, earliest you can get this node that will start raising spiders is level 55. So that's quite late in the game. So this is one thing to also understand. If what you're seeing on the screen is an appealing enough direction for you, if that's where you want to go, as I wanted to go, well, first of all, this is a showcase of how it plays. And second of all, I can tell you that you kind of have to wait before all this fun begins. Sure, there is fun on the way, spreading poisons. You're still fairly robust and fairly capable as a standalone kind of character, I suppose, without the minions too much. You have obviously the Crawler with you, the Herald of Agony. You have obviously the Golem, the Chaos Golem with you as well, as you can see on the screen. It's pretty. You can see it with a naked eye. They are minions, but at the same time, the real minions are those spiders, and you do have to wait until you pass through the labyrinth the second time, which is level 55. That is the biggest concern for you to keep in mind. Once you have spiders, they are insanely amazing at clearing maps. The only problem you can get into is the fact that spiders are not instantly teleporting, so they still need to run there, especially if you are dashing ahead. So if you are further ahead, then you kinda are not really taking advantage of the spiders. Do you know what I mean? The spiders are sort of like following the mummy around, like, oh, mummy, wait for me, wait for me. So if you want to take advantage of the spiders and let them kill everything for you, you simply would have to physically slow down. You would have to let them run ahead. And they are aggressive, they will run ahead. But that's one thing to keep in mind. So if you think that I'm not killing stuff fast enough, whatever, well, first of all, wait until you see how crappy my gear is here at level almost 70. And second of all, it is because I am ahead of the spiders. I'm relying on my own poisons as opposed to the spiders that are hitting them with Viper Strike and also poisoning the enemies. It's a map clearer and a fun leveling build, but it is not a boss killer build. I already said it, but I couldn't say it enough so that someone who doesn't pay attention doesn't then come into my comments and tell me off that it's not a boss killer build and they cannot clear pinnacle bosses. Mate, you cannot. But not with this build, not in this current incarnation. Of course, with more supports, with better gear, you will have better chances, but it is a map clearer, a really fun kind of build, and that's what its purpose is. It's like forks and spoons. You can't blame a fork for not being a great utensil to eat the soup with. Using metaphors, bear with me, alright? Like I said to you, you are always looking to increase chaos damage, which is poison, or actual poison damage, if you can. Yeah, so your first path, we are pathing towards these nodes, towards the fatal toxins, and yeah, so we want to inflict the poison and increase the damage over time with poison. That is what we want to do, and this is an increase of 30%. That's pretty damn massive, alright? So we're going kind of straight way here. We're going past coordination, we're going past entropy, we're going past Fangs of the Viper. We're taking a little bit of increased life. Nice, excellent. We still need to sustain ourselves, that's alright. It won't be enough to sustain you, but it's a good start. And then we're passing over here to take fatal toxins. You can also, once you have Plague Bearer, and I will show you the skills as the next section of this guide, Plague Bearer is something that is amazing. You're going to rely on it a lot. Before you have it, you don't get it instantly, this skill. I can't remember. You get it a little bit later in the game. Like, I don't know, maybe level 15 when you kill Merveil, or maybe even later. Before you get it, there is no point of taking this Poison Mastery, so you could respec this point if you want to progress faster. Just don't take the Mastery at first, and only take it once you have Plague Bearer. But then, increasing the Plague Bearer's capacity by 20% is actually tangible, is worthy Mastery, I think, personally. Alright, then I personally went up here. That's where I went. And I went here towards flaying. Because I'm using a dagger and a shield, I am increasing the damage with hits and ailments, which is poisoned. Poisoned is an ailment. It also increases your attack speed, so you simply throw this stuff faster, as well as accuracy. That's cool, excellent. And these things are doing exactly the same thing, so that is all working well. Then I kept going up. And it's arguable, of course. I could have first taken sustainability nodes here, but I didn't. I personally didn't. You can. And I went up here all the way, believe it or not, to atrophy, which increases chaos damage, which is poison damage, further, and increases skill duration, which means that poison is going to be ticking longer. I've also taken the chaos mastery of 40% of extra physical damage converted to chaos damage, because that's how my main skills work. Viper Strike at first, and then Cobra Lash during leveling. It converts certain amount of physical damage to poison, so the more physical you do, the more poison you will do, unless there is a direct poison damage. So that's at least my logic here. Jury is out on this mastery, so if you're an expert and if you're not a troll but want to actually help, please comment below if you think that I could have taken a better mastery here that would have worked better. I still think that this is better. Alright, then we are taking Written in Blood to increase our maximum life and mainly path further here, and then we're taking further increase of damage over time modifier as well as increasing life regeneration. I have not taken yet another damage over time mastery, so we're going to think about this. I am thinking that I'm going to take plus 10% to damage over time multiplier if you killed recently, because we kill all the time. And plus 10% of damage to multiplier is actually quite a lot once you get to this point, okay? Alright, we are retreating, coming back here. I think you should take Blood Siphon then to continue beefing up, increasing your maximum life, and I've also taken Trickery because it's a flat increase to your damage. How wrong can you go? As well as some stats. Critical strike chance, I personally do not care about too much. We're going down here, we're taking Wasting because it's again Chaos over time multiplier. Then we're taking Taste for Blood, which leeches the life and increases total amount of life recovery from leech. I know this might be arguable for you, but I actually find it replenishing my health while poisons are ticking on everyone a lot faster and very, very well. It goes well. We're pathing downward here. Now we are investing full on into our evasion rating. Evasion is our main defensive layer. So I am running Grace Aura, which gives me evasion rating. And then I'm relying on flat increases to evasion. That's my main defensive layer without shadow of a doubt. Yes, as with a lot of evasion-based builds, it's a little bit of a luck-based build. So you may die, as I have died with this build, from some very, very, very unlucky one-shots. And I have some other mitigation there. I have spell suppression, I have a little bit of block chance from the shield, obviously. I have some elemental resistances, which may or may not be fully capped right now. Let's take a look, because I haven't paid particular attention. Mostly they are, but fire resistance is not. Simply because I did not pay too much attention to gearing. Again, I promised to you to show you my gear, but we are in the passive skill tree right now section of this guide, so be patient or use the chapters. I have taken Wind Dancer. Wind Dancer is a little bit of a questionable kind of element, and that is the same as that Chaos Mastery I talked to you about. You can tell me if you think I should be using Wind Dancer or not in your opinion, but I do think it helps you survive some attacks and be a little more elusive. I do think so. But I'm not a number cruncher, I'm not a theory crafter, so this is based on experience, it's an experiential thing, as opposed to something that's confirmed by some extensive Excel spreadsheets. I am taking Aspect of the Length again to flat increase the damage, attack damage. I am taking, obviously, more evasion rating. And I've taken increased evasion rating if you've been hit recently. You get hit, you are almost half as much like increased on the total chances of evade again. That was a horrible way of saying it, but you bear with me, my friends. Try talking like me non-stop without script for that long. Suppressing spell damage, excellent, increased evasion rating, can't go wrong with intuition, and quick step, again, suppressing spell damage and increased movement speed. These are utility. Well, suppressing spell damage is a wonderful thing, because it cuts the spell damage in half, and it gives you a pretty damn decent chance of suppressing that spell damage, which in my case is 56%. Like, 56% chance that I'll take half of spell damage. That's great. Final node I'm very quickly going to mention to you, so I've taken maximum life. I care less about Flasks here, but I've taken maximum life, and I've taken here Swift Venoms, which is the damage over time multiplier. So that is at almost level 70, and I already told you what I'm going to take as the level 70. As the level 70, I'm going to increase the damage over time multiplier if I killed recently. That is the passive skill tree. Now let's talk about Pantheon. So I always forget about Pantheon. Of course, it's early game and stuff, but generally what I do with the gods is I generally reduce damage taken over time, such as bleeds, because it's a pretty skinny character. It's not horrible, but it's pretty skinny, almost 3000 life, almost no shield, well, no shield at all. So the bleeds and things like poisons, things like corrupted bloods, things like that are going to kill you faster than anything else, other than just a one shot and then you're dead. So I'm using Ralakesh, and I'm also using Solaris, so this is just physical damage reduction, but before I was running with Arakaali, which reduced damage over time further. So you could run with either of these two gods, in my humble opinion anyway. Okay, so I am running with the dagger and with the shield. Can you improve it? Absolutely, but this is my play, okay? I am prioritizing physical damage on, so flat physical damage and added physical damage on the dagger. I have not yet found any daggers that would give me flat damage over time multipliers or anything for poison. I hope that I get it, because at the moment I start feeling like my damage again on map clears is good, but bosses are now becoming virtually unbearable. I kill them, but I just stand there and keep shooting until they just die of old age. Alright, so here all I have is just Plague Bearer. All I have is increased area of effect, so it's wider, the Plague Bearer. Again, on Plague Bearer, I promised to mention how it works in case you are very new, and that's who my videos are mainly for. You are shooting your main damage dealing ability, Cobra Lash. It chains and spreads the poisons, and if you have Plague Bearer equipped, in one mode, in the default mode, it sort of accumulates poison into itself, kind of like a bucket. So it accumulates that poison. Once the poison is accumulated, it basically then allows you to start dispensing it, to start injecting it into the enemies. So you will see the number in the top left corner of the screen kind of climbing up as I'm in the accumulation phase. And then when I'm approaching a rare or a boss, or a big spawn of blue enemies, that's when you will see I pop the Plague Bearer, I poison everyone, and with spiders it just becomes a fiesta. Okay, so that's Plague Bearer. Can it be improved further? Yes, probably, but problem is that Plague Bearer is not one of those spells that can be flat out improved by, say, something like Void Manipulation support. It doesn't work for Plague Bearer. Like, you can even see that here Plague Bearer is with a red cross over there, so it cannot support it. So supporting Plague Bearer is hard, and the AoE support is the main thing that you can do with it, but I'm open to your suggestions as well. Since we're talking about Cobra Lash, and you can see how horrible my gear is, I only have 4 links here. If you have 6 links, that is going to be obviously a lot more stronger. I have Cobra Lash, I have Momentum Support, which is a great skill to keep you moving faster and give you a fast attack speed. Void Manipulation Support, I don't need elemental damage. I want to do more chaos damage, aka poison damage. And I give a chance to poison support. I kinda don't need it because everything is poisoned anyway, my spider's poison stuff. But it adds flat a lot of chaos damage. It's the second line there that I care about, okay? Another thing here is Withering Step, which I almost not use because unfortunately GGG nerfed the game to the extent where we can no longer map Withering Step to the left click. We used to have Withering Step in the good old days on the left click, so it simply procced every time when it was off cooldown and you moved. Right now I need to click it deliberately, so I kind of have it. I used it in a couple of tight spots during leveling, but you absolutely don't need it, in my opinion. I would take this efficacy support. As you can see, efficacy support currently is on my Herald of Agony, helping him spread more poisons and do point blank support when he shoots really closely. That lovely scorpion-like thing, which barrages everyone with poison, looks great, does a lot of damage, it's awesome. So I would put the efficacy support to support Cobra Lash, which will increase the damage by, at the very least, here like almost a quarter, 23%, and increase the skill effect duration. So that is my next step. And on the 6th one, I'm open to your suggestions. Tell me what would you put as the 6th support here for the Cobra Lash. What else do I have? I have Dash. Dash is unsupported. Can it be supported? Of course it can be supported, but it's not at the moment. We could do, yeah, a lot of things here with Dash. I also use Grace. Grace is just simply giving me more evasion rating. I already mentioned it. Pretty simple. Here I'm using Chaos Golem. Chaos Golem is doing Deadly Ailments. Yes, we could also put Deadly Ailments support here as a number 6 for Cobra Lash, by the way, in addition to efficacy. Yes, absolutely. But my problem with Deadly Ailments is that it does more damage with ailments such as poison, and quite a lot of damage, but it will do 80% less damage as projectiles with hits itself. And I still believe that currently, at the very least, in the current state of play for me, quite a lot of damage comes simply from the direct hit that my knives that I'm throwing are doing. So I'm kind of not too keen to lose 80% of that damage, but the more I invest into damage over time, obviously the more valuable Deadly Ailments becomes, no questions asked, so keep that in mind. That's all there is, my friends. Everything else is just attributes, everything else is just, yeah, trying to cap resistances where I can, increase physical damage. The only one legendary I'm using here, and that is a bit of a legalized cheat as I call it, it is if you reserve a lot of mana and you struggle with mana. As you can see, I don't even run a mana flask right now. The Praxis Ring takes away from the potency of your attack because it does nothing for your attack. It does like all sorts of other kind of stuff there, right? But it's all about the mana. My mana, basically, I just never run out of mana, even though you can see I'm casting all the time. But Praxis Ring is exactly what allows me to just survive on so little mana, really, in upset. That's all there is. My flasks are not optimized, but I am using the evasion rating increase. When I hit a unique or rare enemy, I expect them to hit back, so my evasion automatically goes up. I am using increase to armor. When I block, I run a shield, I block, it increases armor, why not? And I have, just in tight spots, I have +2 elemental resistances. That is because I know that my fire resistance is not capped right now, but I would like to survive like labyrinth runs and that kind of stuff. That's it, my friends. That's the whole build for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like a PoB. It's an unfinished build, obviously, but close to the end game. I never bother creating PoBs for 2 reasons. First, I'm not an expert in PoB. I'm not a theory crafter. I'm an experiential person. Plus, I record these videos for a reason. If I created a PoB and all you did was click on my video and then immediately go in description, take the PoB and go away, what's the point of me talking to you for 10+ minutes? You understand what I'm saying? As a creator, as a gamer, it's kind of like counterproductive for me. But I'm happy to support my community, and if you want a PoB, if a build is popular, then I'll create one for you. Otherwise, I talked you through it. Rewind and take a look at it again if you really need to. That's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a like. It's an awesome, very, very good, fun build. Spiders eat up everything. You poison everything. Very different as well. I think good for your mental health as a gamer. Play something different for a change. And yeah, beyond that, yeah, bosses are a problem. Bosses are a problem, but with better support, with better gear, it probably will be less of a problem, but still is not going to be great. So don't expect that and you won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time about something else, Path of Exile, or perhaps even a little bit of World of Warcraft related. Some of that content is coming, gonna be interweaved. If you're a Path of Exile player and you watch this whole thing and you're like, oh no, Gyro is leaving for World of Warcraft, special bonus address to you, my friend. I will not forget about Path of Exile. I will keep playing Path of Exile. However, yeah, some things are happening there in that camp, so I will have to pay it attention as well. Don't go anywhere, it's gonna be fine. Path of Exile has always been my game, always will remain. Thanks for watching again. Like it if you haven't already, and I'll see you later. Goodbye for now.